Hiya, hiya, hiya.
It's
There
the
you
best
go.
song, man.
It is the best song. It's the best song. We got to incorporate it in the show more. Big win there for the Chiefs. Gravitas, though, Spawn, giving them a bit of a run for their money. You look great, by the way. The hair looks wonderful.
And I'm going to start again. Hello, everyone. I'm unmuted now. Cool. So what I was saying, actually, is that Gravitas seems to have taken a leaf out of Order's book, or vice versa, with Pabu. They want to really throw the mid-game gauntlet at people. They want to say, you know what, the OPL is playing a lot of scaling at the moment. Let's play 1-3-1. Let's play mid-game team fight, and let's try and accrue ourselves some early game leads and try and put a Dragon Soul pressure on. Now, that should have worked this game. I actually think they had a really good game plan, and then Trashly died before 2 dragons, and the game was kind of over. But apart from that, I thought that, you know, they played that fairly well.
There you go. Well done to Chiefs. It's time to move on to the Nick bag. Let's see. I'll tell you what, we've got a stack of stuff here. Let's go with Rflex Point, who just screams at me, favorite cake. Spawn.
Red velvet with cream cheese frosting.
Red velvet. Holy shit.
Oh,
That is
I
so.
would be
It's so
so fat.
rich.
If I had a red velvet cake here with some cream cheese frosting, yeah, because the cream cheese frosting, it just cuts through all that richness. I would be a fat Spawn right now if I had myself a red velvet cake.
Rusty,
Hard to argue.
you've never eaten a cake in your life.
What's cake? No,
You're 2% body fat.
No, I love cake, actually, Nick. It's one of the few things that I would snack on as a cheat meal. No, I like mug cakes a lot. I'm a big fan of chocolate cake.
Oh, yeah. Even though it gets stuck in
Can't
your
go
teeth.
wrong with a mug cake. Yeah, I mean, it's just a part of the parcel. My other option, though, and I guess my question is, it's not a cake, I don't think, but I count it because they're the same shape, is pavlova.
Okay, right, okay. I can see that.
I have it at the
I
same time as cake, Nick.
I would argue
Shape
that
of a cake.
it couldn't possibly be that things that are the same shape are considered the same kind of thing. But yeah, I would class a pav. What else is it? A dessert, I suppose.
Yeah, so New Zealand.
I'll pay a pav. Spawn, thank you for the red velvet answer. You need to bugger off because you're getting ready for game 2 of Order. So we'll see you soon. Skimmy, you are a New Zealand native. Is the pav your answer as well?
It's actually not. No, I love banana cake. I feel like banana cake is just so universal because, like, if I'm in a rush to get some food, I just have some banana bread. So it's a cake that becomes bread that can be toasted, that can be eaten cold. So, like, it's so universal, so nutritious. I think bananas, coming from a sporting background, are just such an OP fruit. You just have one of those, skip breakfast, you're good to go.
Did you have
OP
half-time oranges?
fruit.
I did have halftime oranges. I was one of those stereotypes. Say we had like the mum on the sideline, just like GG, and you'd be like, "Oh, I love this. I love being like a 9-year-old playing football, watching everyone run after the ball like Rocket League. It was crazy."
Why are just diverging a little bit? Why are oranges the halftime food of choice for child sports teams?
I think it's because they are so easily split into many amounts, right? Like it's a fruit, so it's healthy, and you can cut it into a million pieces if you wanted, and everyone's like, "I get some," right?
That's a good point, and it's probably easier to transport than something like a watermelon. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's and to actually split apart. Yeah.
Lots of responses in the chat regarding the cake situation, but Montanus actually has the correct answer, and that is hummingbird cake. Hummingbird cake, my favorite kind of cake.
What is that? I've never heard of that.
Hummingbird is it's banana-y, it's vanilla-y, it's lemony. It's a very light cake. I'm gonna get the actual ingredients for you right now.
This is where I wish we were in the studio and you had your laptop and you'd like show it to us.
Yeah, I can't show you that. Ingredients include flour, sugar, salt, vegetable oil, ripe banana, pineapple, cinnamon, pecans, vanilla extract, eggs, and leavening agent. my favorite of all the agents. So hummingbird cake, very good, and carrot cake as well. Carrot cake with like a nice
cake's
frosting. Oh,
yeah.
oh,
I do like
carrot
that.
cake's amazing. Montanus, good man. All right, next question. How many bathroom or personal care products do you use? What's your routine? This one comes in from Steel Sings Ose. What are we using?
Routine.
You go into the bathroom for like either your morning shower or your evening routine. What are you doing?
I've actually gotten to the big habit of using face washes and whatnot now, and it's kind of like one of those guilty pleasures of like you finish the day and there's like I got this like face oil thing apparently like cleans your skin and then like an exfoliator afterwards. And I'm not
You
gonna
have an
lie,
oily
at first I was-
T-zone.
Yeah, no, like I get tons of pimples, right? So like I was just like, this is kind of insane. So like I put this on, and then afterwards, like I actually felt my skin feel like tight and clean. And I was like, I can understand why girls like this stuff. And I think there's a bit of an appreciation, especially after being on show and like wearing makeup and just kind of like the effect it feels like. It's a guilty pleasure, that's for sure.
I like it. Rusty.
It shouldn't be a guilty pleasure though. It should just be a pleasure. Like it should just be a
pleasure.
thing. It shouldn't feel guilty. You'll get used to it. I would say so. What I would do is I wash my face. I do exfoliate. If I am in the shower, I have like a charcoal wash as well. So it's a very similar thing actually. Yeah, I maybe 3 layers to my self-care routine. That's about it. And then soapy water, wash your hands, 20 seconds, hum the favorite song that you've got in your head for that day.
Please.
Currently
Please.
run the jewels. Always the way.
I totally agree. Charcoal and rock salt base exfoliate. I've got a natural body wash to just keep all the crevices clean and smelling great. There's the shampoos, there's the conditioners. I add in a moisturizer afterwards on the face, just a little bit, just because
Yes.
I'm getting old. I'm older than 80.
Oh,
Have we just lost Nick?
did he disappear? It's not me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is the first time
Things have
ever it's
happened.
not me.
Things have actually happened, Rusty. It's actually going to be our show now. So, as Nick would have been saying with his hand postured out like this, we're going to jump to the Macca's Champion Select.
When the difference
between winning and losing
is measured in milliseconds.
Everything counts.
The Alienware Legendary Battle Station.
Feeling the heat? Grab a pineapple or pineberry frozen Fanta mix at Macca's. With 36 flavours, it's the largest range in Australia. Grab one for only $1. A little goes a long way at Macca's.
Order are back at it again in their second game of the day. It's an important situation for them. Obviously, they are on the gauntlet run to get themselves into the playoffs. A great performance earlier today, Rusty. Despite some shakes, despite some moments where you're thinking they are so far ahead, how on earth did they lose this? They brought it back, and Mammoth are one of those teams that can create upsets after beating Pentanet yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Order won their game. In the end, it was a clean win, besides some shaky moments that happened around the objectives. And if there's one thing that you could say for Order that we have to watch, and it doesn't matter their opponent, it is what are they going to do where there is a dragon about to be on the map? Because it's just ruining their lives right now. And so, like, if I was Sport, I'd be going in there and saying, I swear to God, if you lose another fight at this dragon, we're having words. But, it's Mammoth. They were clean in the early game against AV, arguably a better team. You have to see how they go in this one.
Yeah, I'm being quite curious to see what actually happens in this one. I'm going to see the Heimerdinger abandoned away because, Artek and Mboma found some fun with that pick yesterday. So they're going to open things up much the same. Quaku's going to stick to that Renekton, and it is going to be the blind pick.
Yeah, no harm, no foul in going Renekton now. Actually did get those buffs like we mentioned in the first game of the day. Order did ban that one away from Dragku and AV. So now they've got the Renekton. The Elise is possible. Bass is an Elise player. We'll have to see the direction they choose to go in this draft, if it is going to be playing towards topside, because the thing is, they don't do that very often. They often play through Baz, maybe through Lived, but we don't often see them go towards Kwaku.
Yeah.
So will they go the Elise? Maybe. But will they play towards him is also a maybe.
Well, Bess's popular Echo has been denied, but out of the last 8 games, 5 of those he's played Gragas. This time, though, it looks like he's going to go with the Sejuani for a lot of tankiness, a lot of frontline in-your-face action. Going to be interesting to see what his Sejuani performance is like after what we've seen, and obviously the other big outlier is the fact that no Wukong ban, no Wukong pick.
But yeah, no Wukong to be seen just yet. I don't know if Order plays it. We'll have to find out the hard way if they do get the chance to lock that one in. I was just looking at Mammoth's comp there as well. They've gone for the Thresh third. They know that it's going to be the hookers down in bot lane. They've got Thresh versus Nautilus. It could also be a Silas game for them if they wanted to pick at mid. Melee champions working with Sedge passives obviously important. And then you've got the Silas into the Rumble that we have seen before. So choices there for Order what they want third, but I'd expect to see that either as a ban or a pick here for the side of Mammoth.
It's interesting to see how the ADCs have fallen so much in priority in this game matchup alone, and Philios will be the final component as we go into the second round of bans. With Order, do you imagine that are they going to go in the trend of just banning away popular AD carries? Senna, Misfortune, all gone now, so you're looking at what we've talked about in the past, your likes of Ezreal's and Ashes.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, just because they did this yesterday, you do have the options of like the Ezreal, the Varus, pretty standard AD carriers, but you also have the choices of like the Syndras and the Ziggs and these other styles that he played Heimerdinger yesterday. I think it's possible, but mages is something they've been practicing all week.
Sure. Curious to see what they decide to take out of that rabbit hat, if you will. Olaf is going to be denied away, so a strong early game contender. Is that a really hard counter to the Sejuani? Would it give Bess a hard time?
The Olaf? It's just hard to be Sejuani and find their engages if the Olaf is standing in front of the team, so I wouldn't say it's a hard counter or anything, but definitely has its strengths into a Sejuani for sure. Another option is like a Trundle. If you wanted to look at things that can make a Sejuani's life very difficult, Trundle is high on that list. It usually changes the entire rune setup of the Sejuani.
Well, they're going to continue that as Order with a second ban towards those AD carries. Varus now removed, as well as a second physical damage dealer in the jungle with Graves off the table as well.
Could still be Kindred though.
He has played it before, and he's played the Trundle too. And he's got that flexibility.
Exactly. I think he's still got plenty of options. He's going to go for the Jarvan this time, so he's actually going to choose the engage route for the team. Neither of the two we mentioned, while viable, aren't going to be the way they go, so now you look at what's left for the side of Order, and it is that last pick for Hayri once again. And now that he's got a Jarvan, he could play whatever he wants, honestly, and just needs to see his matchup first. That LeBlanc is still there. Give him a free Yasuo matchup by picking Zoe, I dare you. They've already got a magic damage dealer in the Rumble. It could even be the Rumble mid, and Swiper playing something crazy in top lane like a Kled again. So
this is interesting because, as you say, they're leaving Swiper's pick to last, and traditionally speaking, he plays those tanks, right? The one is most favoured. Then you've got the likes of Set. First pick Set beforehand. It's going to be the Ezreal, and I don't think that's going to be a Teemo, and if it is, well, we've just broken things. It's going to be the Nico. So, expecting the hard engage, as you'd imagine there, with the red carpet to follow up the Cataclysm, and is it going to happen? Surely. Wukong being picked in last would be a surprise?
Yeah, they've seen the full comp of their opponents. The Wukong can deal some serious damage, but they also have a lot of frontline to... I think what's interesting is it could work, but I think it's risky, So this to me makes a lot more sense. It's actually very well-rounded for their whole composition. It's the Jarvan Ori duo, so mid-jungle is strong. Chuck an equalizer on top of all of that as well. And then their damage just becomes unreasonably high. Very much an R-button style composition here from Order.
Very.
And I think that if you're struggling to win fights at objectives like Dragons, it's so hard to mess this one up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You press R and the fight happens, right? So if you've been a little bit lackluster or feeling a little bit down with your split pushing or macro, and when it's come to sort of translating that success with those gold leads into the team fights, this surely gives you the best attempt at that. I suppose really to flip the script, what do Mammoth really have up their sleeve? The first thing that springs to mind would obviously be the Nico and the Sejuani.
Yeah, they have a decent comp. So Nico has recently been buffed. A lot more damage from the W and the E again. So lots of damage still to be there in a magical sense. Sejuani, good frontline. Renekton, good frontline. Actually decent at split pushing now as well. And knows the matchup into Rumble. So it's pretty much a skill matchup. If you play it well, Quaker, then you find your advantages. And then the bot side being an Ezreal Thresh. Very hard to take that lane down and can play the weak side, can play the strong side, wherever Sejuani chooses to go. So there's actually a decent amount of strength there. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what rune setup the Nico chooses to go. Lived there, if he goes the Glacial Augment build, then they have a lot of pick with the Thresh Nico moving together, and I think that's how they would choose to play the game out once they hit mid-game. Just constantly play grouped up, use river control, try and generate some picks, and maybe play into the fact that Order are looking to be an R-button comp and catch them before they can be ready.
So obviously the big elephant in the room for me is the fact that it is going to be the Swiper Rumble pick. Given that you've been around in the OPL for a much longer time than me, is this something that he's always had in his arsenal that he's just been hiding away for quite a while?
Yeah, I mean, Swiper's always had Rumble and Kennen as two of his mage options. He's always got the Kled and Alawi as two of his bruiser options, and then the rest of him's pretty much a standard tank player. Nara also, of course, in those bruisers. Yeah, he's had Rumble for years. No concerns to see him lock that one in. I guess it was unsurprising.
Well, let's see what Order can do in this one. They've built for team fight. Can they win those Drakes? We'll find out after the short break. We take to the Rift with Order up against Mammoth. Order looking to draft or have draft a composition that is wanting to press R. R standing for results, whereas Mammoth, they've picked themselves a comp to do just that. Pick these members apart, try and make these fights a numbers disadvantage in their favor, and hopefully look to then get a snowball advantage in that fashion.
Yeah, with some potential for team fighting themselves, though a little bit less simple. There is still the Sejuani ultimate. There is still the Nico ultimate there. So in terms of big AoE, impactful spells, they've still got a few of them of their own. Their scaling, I would still say, is decent. You know, usually you would look at Renekton's and you would say that their scaling is actually mid-game focused. They drop off at a few items, but we've mentioned this a few times now, the way the new Blade of the Ruin King works. Renekton's still just generally strong all the time. You got an extra 4% damage per auto attack. It kind of adds up. So their scaling's still decent compared to their opponents that have Order, but we've already spoken about what Order can do, so now we have to look at what Mammoth can do. Can they make plays happen before the level 6 buttons are there, before the R buttons are available, or are they just going to match their opponents, scale up, and take them on at the objectives?
Well, that's what's interesting for me, is obviously keeping an eye on where Bass decides to go. We already saw a invade attempt as both junglers said hello and went for a slight trade. That's why Bass has got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, but he's going to start red camp, so carving towards top side, maybe an indication that he wants to get Quaker online early.
Yeah, definitely a place to look. I mean, for early ganking, Renekton is the perfect target. Right now he's going for a full clear though, perhaps trying to do the Krugs to time out the ward that is at his Raptors, but nevertheless, when Renekton has empowered W, that's basically the Sejuani passive locked in, so the stuns are guaranteed, and top laners don't run cleanse, right? They always run teleport, so it's a prime target.
Keep our eyes on how not only those teleports are used, but how those junglers interact to keep that lane in check. And already see both hooking supports looking to showcase that they're not afraid to engage and look to try and establish themselves with that lane priority to hit 2 first and then maybe control that Drake. Because much like the game beforehand, Order, typically speaking, despite this sort of meme that we've created here, they typically are a team that claim more Drakes and Barons than their opponent in Mammoth.
Kweku just actively losing trades there. Swiper has the push, has the wave control, definitely able to set up, and if he wants to place vision for his jungler only to dip into the enemy blue side camps, and that's exactly where only's going. As when you think of the pathing of Baz, he has no priority in those lanes to help him right now.
Lived will be the first one to get this team fight, however. Well, team fight basically a skirmish at this point. He's doing a lot of work to get only low, forcing out the flash, gets the heal because he uses Smite. It's going to be a situation in which Harry can't even influence it. He flashes forward to try and use that ball, but it amounts for nothing. Even Quaku ready to respond, and First Bloods goes Mammoth's way.
Yeah, and I say no priority for his team to help because I assumed the fight would be happening at the blue buff, which means that Hayri had time to push a wave in. It happens immediately on the other side of the Wolf camp, which is just a stone's throw away from the Deco. It gets there instantly, and there you go.
Well, it looked like Only was in a fantastic situation to really bully out Bass and prevent his influence on this game so that they could hit level 6 uncontested, but a lot of summoners burnt and the buffs lost as well. Definitely stems Order's plan.
Yeah, and that flash from Hayri is one of those other things that really concerns you. Because now Nico and Sejuani, like, yes, the cleanse is there, the phase rush is there to try and get you away, but they have a lot of crowd control between them. And the flash cooldown obviously going to be quite long, so there is a window of opportunity to look for those ganks in the mid lane now. The potential's there at the top lane. A good ward at least will spot if that blue buff is getting completed by Baz, who I believe chose to reset after the Wolves didn't go for the blue buff. So it's still there.
Well, Harry will go for that reset and picks himself up a Dark Seal with the boots, so he's definitely gearing up for what you mentioned of keeping nimble and not dropping too low to become an easy target for those gank attempts. Order will find a priority in their bottom lane, which allows Only now to show a little bit of presence here and go for the scuttle, try and get themselves online and at least find a victory in, when they hit that level 6 mark, contesting a major objective.
Yeah, that really slows the pace down that Order were looking to set, so things do come down. Nice hook, though, from Ayla. Just a bit of extra damage down in the bottom lane. Nothing doing, the wave still being pushed in. That priority's already given them control of the bot lane scuttle crab. So the double scuttle, nice take. I think that is anyway, from the side of Order. Still with some control over the map, and yeah, really waiting to see Bass get active.
So you did mention in the draft, what kind of version of this Nico that we would get. It is going to be the Glacial Augment. So in that context, I suppose, you're looking at these activatables with, the GLP, with the, the summonable ghosts. Is there like a key power spike in which they're going to look to go for this one? I imagine it's just GLP and Impress R.
Yeah, GLP. So the reason that Glacial is so powerful on Nico is not only does she use auto attacks as a part of her kit, the spells that slow you down basically secure the ultimate hitting. So you don't have to just hit that E anymore, which is a very dodgeable spell. So I think that, at those item spike timings, there's a point where Lived becomes incredibly powerful. It's a cheap build, first and foremost, as well, so we'll hit the 2 items very quickly. Ezreal's build, we speak about often, is also very cheap. So in terms of when should Mammoth be looking for fights, well, I think that speaks for itself. You look at their item completion timings. Well on the way to that as well, it's worth pointing out. CS difference in top lane and the kill in mid.
Well, this is a 3-man collapse right now because Fresh is coming from the right side and Bass is rotated around from the top left. They're going to look to try and engage on towards Harry. Passive will not connect to lock him in place with that root, and there was no ultimate from the jungle to start things off there. Lived will not be able to find a solo kill in that lane. But top is where the action will now take place instead, as Order look to try and force a jungle gank of their own. No flash for Quake, who can't slice and dice over into that Baron pit. He's doing a lot of damage with that Dominus available and will dash himself out of harm's way, but Swiper will kill confirm as he flashes forward.
Yeah, seems to just resign himself to that death, like you mentioned, not having the flash available, so just tries to stand and deliver. And yeah, he does a decent amount of damage back in the trade, but it always felt like he was just going to die and would have required something special to be able to get a trade kill. Flash forward from Swipe securing it, and any advantage that existed in top lane has now been completely washed away, as Swipe is able to push that one in, force the teleport out of Kweku, and now that's a TP advantage for Order.
Well, we'll have to see how Order decide to use this one, as now Mammoth get a window in which they can try and claim some vision around in this river. They've already got a control wall down in that Pixie Brush, and they will look to get another one closer to the Drake itself, but Arctic has other ideas in mind, still waiting for that bot lane to hit level 6 themselves, as Rev's the first one to do so, so keep your eyes fixated on how these dragons start to be rotated towards.
Yeah, it's more so the map flip than the dragon itself. When do these teams reset, go towards top lane? You can see that the synchronized recall timings for a second there from Mammoth made me feel like they were flipping. They didn't, though. They both cancelled their recall, staying for one more wave. So no one flipping just yet for the Herald itself. Still, I think with a lot of pressure that exists from this Jarvan and Rumble that have been lurking around top lane, it's something that they'll at least have their eyes on. Whether they do it or not is another question.
No, Bass returns back with the Kindle Gem in his pocket. The Balmy Cinder, so he's definitely got the clear now, a little bit easier online for himself, as Only goes back to base himself and picks up the exact same components. So identical builds really here from the junglers. One is blue, one is red, so dueling potential is there. Now we see another repeat gank on, say, mid lane to try and burn Harry's flash again.
Yeah, funnily enough, from our blue and red side teams, the jungle items reflect that one. Waiting for a moment, there was actually about 30 seconds spent by Bass looking at top lane. It's a prime place to gank, is nice trade in mid, but the top lane gank wasn't found. So that was a lot of time wasted where there was a free recall there from Only, a free reset from the Jarvan, and he's now on the map, he's active, working with his Nautilus. They're looking for bot lane to see if they can maybe get a gank off.
They want to break this bottom lane open right now as the wave is slowly pushing into the tower. We're going to show face now. Moonlight Vigil is to open things up. As Swiper comes on in, he presses R. He's got that TP movement speed to make it that much easier to work on with. Nika going to go for the ultimate. It's going to do the damage. It's going to kill Secure onto a Swiper. They nearly find a second, although they actually do. Lived using summoners, finding value in it.
Lived now finds himself 3-0 on this Nico, and if you want an accelerated champion for Mammoth to give them victories, this is the one that you need to look towards. The teleport advantage through top lane is why Order make that play, but Lived proves to be too strong, and they make it work, even in a numbers deficit. Kweku's going to get some plates top lane as well, and we'll see how this one starts off. because it was an early flash from Artek, I believe. Yeah, straight into the hook. Heal keeps him alive for a second, but the shockwave not going to do enough. And really, from this point, as it was obviously it was a stopwatch, but like from this point, there's no minions, there's nothing there but a tower, and Order just trying to disengage with no mana, no spells, nothing to help them, and Liv just stares them down, flashes, and gets himself another.
And Mammoth have just absolutely broken through. They've smashed this one wide open. They've just got themselves a 3k gold lead, not only picking up those kills in the bottom lane, but then instantly the response from Bass. Let's go top side. They get a completed tower with the Herald, and then a second headbutt too. Renekton back in the game.
Yeah, most definitely. He's in a comfortable position now, where before it might have been a little bit dicey, but either way, Order, they'll go for the Drake on spawn. It'll be the second Drake of the game for them if they're able to lock this one down. There is no contest. Swiper is dead, though. It is worth pointing out in top lane. So that was the trade, as Order are getting picked around dragons is becoming iconic. It doesn't even need to be at the pit anymore. We've transcended the pit itself. If there is a dragon on the map, someone dies from Order.
Maybe, Rusty, now just bear with me on this theory. It's quite complicated. It's quite complex. Maybe there's a world in which only has to play Shyvana. And it's like how to train your dragon. And it like conditions them to be more comfortable with that pit.
What? Are you saying this because Shyvana gets buffs with the Drake?
Well, Shyvana is the dragon, right? And she gets the buffs, and they look at it and go, look, if we see a Drake, we're comfortable with it, we're facing our fears.
Yeah, they could do that if they really want to lose and not make playoffs. This week 9 is not the time to face those fears that directly. I think they should try winning the game instead. Or, not being caught in side lanes when your team's doing objectives.
Let's see how they decide to go with this one as they push themselves forward back in. 2 Drakes to the name so far. It's definitely working towards that soul that will definitely buff them.
That's a satisfying noise.
It is.
The flamethrower bouncing to different targets. Either way, they'll push mid lane. They've got priority now. They've actually got most people here. Hayri, the only person not present for the side of Order. No teleport on the Orianna either. Pressuring top lane. Perhaps a dive on the cards. It's Kweku's turn to see how he plays this one out.
Well, the entire roster, except for Harry, show up to the top lane. Repeat basically what they did in the bottom lane beforehand. And they get a kill.
Yeah, they do. It's a clean kill this time as well. It's Kweku, nowhere to go, stuck under the turret. Nautilus ult signals his death, because really he can't even outplay that one. And there they go, some turret plates going over to Rare. He's going to stay in top lane as well, continue to push forwards. 45 seconds left to get as many plates as he possibly can. Now, in bottom lane, Lived is still doing the same thing. I feel this will be a little bit faster, but Baz is hovering nearby. The control ward just below Baz may have spotted him. Hard to say. But he's hovering, Lived.
Well, the response will be a little bit quicker here from Order to slow down Nico in what is already going to be a losing trade, as you can see from that picture-in-picture. Rare doing a fantastic job of getting this turret down before the 40-minute mark.
Yeah, gets in there. 7 seconds to spare. Jarvan's altered.
That is a lot of damage, and that is a wombo combo. Well, at least a glimpse of it. The shockwave not even needed to secure that one there. Fresh taken out of the place, making it a 4v5, as they can now look to try and contest either top lane or mid.
Yeah, Artek caught on a little bit of a journey by himself there. Hayri able to pressure now in a 1v2 just because of the level advantage that he has. Level 11 on this Orianna, the highest in the game, matching that of his own mid lane opponent respectively. But Order are the ones still getting the picks now. That top lane turret, lots of gold into the hands of Rare. It's the Infinity Edge done. The mid lane area now gets a pick. And full control, free resets. Order starting, it feels like, to ramp up again, even though they're at a gold deficit.
Let's get a glimpse of that right now. As you can see, Lived, as you'd imagine, sitting at 3-0. We'll find a slight advantage. We'll have a 1k buffer over there on towards Harry, but Rare finding a lot of value in that top push, able to get those plates to himself. We'll find the same value when he goes up against the cheaper build of an Israel.
There's so much of that lead going on Quaku as a 0-2-1 player. That's the power of the turret play. It's a good hook.
Sure it is, and that's going to be the engage on towards Arctic. Forced to this time burn that stopwatch, which he has now got in his pocket. Burn his life bar as well. The same will be achieved on bottom lane. Cleanse used. Harry hangs onto the flash. Not looking to disengage towards his tower.
Lived able to push the turret where they aren't able to do so just yet in mid. Buys a bit of time now. The threat is on for a dive in mid. You've got Baz and Quaku trying to rotate to assist. Lived choosing not to push the turret just yet. But the Drake is up in 20 seconds. And this is the moment, Skibby. The moment that I personally have been waiting for. Is someone gonna die when the dragon's up?
It's almost become like the highlight of your day, right? Whenever you get to cast an order game.
Absolutely.
What do you get to
When you've got
witness?
this many games of OPL, Skibby, you learn to appreciate the little things.
Well, only he's had his work cut out for him. A 100% kill participation
Oh.
as the Drake does spawn, as you highlight, but now forced to return and respond towards mid lane, where the max range Sugar Zela comes back in. Cataclysm secures a double kill, and they want a triple kill as Aphelios uses that sniper cannon. They don't care about the Drake. The initiation here for Mammoth completely counteracted.
Yeah, this time they're not doing the Drake. A good hook there from Artek, but it's not going to be anything. In fact, he's probably just going to die
Swiper.
from this. Yeah, Swips comes through, secures it. They this time order. They'll take the fight before the objective. They'll do it cleanly. They're able to get themselves a tower, 4 kills, and the Drake on the disengage. It's Drake number 3 for them as well to put them on Ocean Soul Point. Or to reinvent themselves at this Drake fight. And it's about the supports once again, because the hook hits, looks clean, everyone dashes forward, but the stopwatch buys enough time for everyone to get here. And then the ultimate and the Jarvan ultimate to follow through. I mean, fragile health bars there, you know. They were just gonna die.
They are definitely looking a lot more comfortable in this game. They're definitely able to showcase what they can do and not feel that they are reliant on the shockwave to secure it. And the fact that Swipe, rocks on in with this rumble, just jumps forward, gets the kill. It's their game to play for. They've got Soul Point now as a win condition.
Yeah, that's an Ocean Soul as well. So what more could you possibly want if you were Order? Yeah, there is a 3-0 Nico on the other side of the team, other side, but I haven't seen that Nico do anything yet, right, to contribute to winning this game. The second he got that lead, all we've seen is Liv go to the side lane, have the teleport, but not be using the teleport, and Mammoth have started losing fights.
Well, this will be one of the strongest spikes for it, with 2 completed actives online, with the Ghosts and the
Nico's here
GLP.
before Oriana.
No stopwatch is available for him, but he's going to be the one to jump on in with the flash ult, which actually hits nothing but creeps in the jungle. Ayla popping that stone plate to keep himself tanky, but he will fall on down in the end. The mobility of an Ezreal just far too much in the end.
Good Aphelios, though.
Rare's so strong in that background. He's just able to pick up a double kill and only finds the 3rd kill in this trade. Shockwave to bring back Quaku as Order just look to clean up house. Liv the first one to jump in, but the only one to survive. Order winning team fights here, Rusty.
Yeah, they just stand and deliver Order. That was Mammoth's attempt to go forwards. Aphelios puts in ridiculous damage. He's got all the bodies standing in front of him as well. And, in basketball, we call that one an airball, Skibby. I think that's what we just saw there from Liv on the Nico. Used all of his buttons, all of them to go forwards. And maybe if he had the flash ult, it would have locked down some targets. But we'll see what happens here, because the flash is used to dodge the Nort hook, I believe. And now he doesn't have anything for the kills to close the distance. You could think things might be different there if Rare was actually locked down, but he's got the red gun, he's got the chakrams as well.
It's the dream.
He hits the ultimate. Yeah, he's got the dream weapons, and his damage is just bonkers as the fight extends.
We've yet to really see what can happen when Lived truly graces us with his presence in that team fight. Not willing to die for his cause, does disengage out of that one, but you can see if they are able to lock members in place, that could be a very different story. So we'll have to wait and see what Liv's able to achieve in the next situation. Even if we get to that, right, 2 minutes up in this next Drake, Soul Point, Ocean Drake, that might be the time when Mammoth really have to put their metal on the gas.
Yeah, well, it's starting to hit that point very soon, though. You've got the cheap item champions. It's not the Iceborne Gauntlet. Actually, Quaku just hit a whole boatload of trouble. Nice protection there from Baz, though.
4-0 is the Sifilios right now. Every summoner available. Running those Conqueror runes, incredibly safe behind this front line, as that last team fight demonstrated. And they do have a Rift Herald in their pocket as well, so Only's been playing up a storm here. I mentioned it before, 100% kill participation. The guy is really putting on a clinic so far.
Good use of the Twin Shadows there from Lived, actually, to try and spot people. He knew that he wasn't safe. He was able to see them all just flanking him in the corner there, closer to the Zonias, and that is a big breakpoint for him. When it comes to these team fights, he needs to be able to survive to get the ultimate off, and you can R-Zonias. Until that point, can be taken down pretty effectively.
Vision denial going on down here is Order have one play in mind, and that is to secure this turret. They want to go in for this play right now. Ayla does not get juked on out by that disguise. He just goes for the ultimate and gets the shutdown.
Yeah, very simple. Once again from Order, Mammoth are going to trade a mid lane outer turret for the bot lane inhibitor if they don't recall, and Swiper's going to stop the recalls. He doesn't have his ultimate, but Swiper's just going to run at him and see what he can do. That's at least the inhib turret, not a trade that Mammoth wanted to take.
Still hangs on that Rift Herald. Insane. So much macro pressure that could come from this next play with Baron still available. They're going to go for the full reset. Swiper holds mid to keep priority in that. And Ocean Soul, 15 seconds away. It's really do or die right now.
Order looking down the barrel of a 2-0 day after their 0-2 the day before. Of course, this is a completely different run for them when it comes to making playoffs in the highest possible seed. We said they needed to win 3 of their next 5 to secure their own destiny. Well, they're looking at a 2-0 start to those first 5 games. All it would then take is the next 3 to win 1.
Would definitely relieve a lot of pressure on their shoulders to get themselves into that spot. Herald is going to get dropped. It's going to give Mammoth a decision to try and contend with.
Fight. You've got to get into the pit for this one. It's at 1200.
He stole it away! The smite still is there! And once again, Liv's unable to find major value with his ultimate. The shutdown comes across, and Boma getting the value. The Drake curse continues, Frosty. Boy, does it do. Harry going to find a kill onto Bass now as a return, and Ayla with the hook. Double kill now onto the mid lane carry. Order very, very low. Forced to disengage away. There will not be a soul point. And Mammoth, they had to engage. They will engage. And they make this game go 5 minutes longer.
Tech looking to get those Moby boots on to catch Swiper, but he's not fast enough. They won't be able to get any more kills than they would have otherwise liked. Herald is currently breaking mid lane as well, so keep that in mind. That while we watch the fight happen, Rift Herald has been putting in some work. That's an inhib charge as well that you're going to see. Now Bass, the hero of the day, steals this one. As if in some miracle, Order will just take 50-50 Drakes on all of the important dragons today. And they give the opportunity. The door's left open. Baz comes in swinging. He will die for it. And unfortunately for Mammoth, all they were able to get was that 1 kill. And now you'll see lots of good damage, lots of low health bars, and Mbobo misses a bunch of skill shots here, forcing good dodging from Ayla.
Two open inhibitors now in mid and bot. As we wait for Order to get those ultimates up online again. They are going to turn their attention not only as a unit, but with their vision towards this top side. Baron becomes the next objective to contest. I'm sure they themselves don't want to have to sort of wait for that soul point to come up again. The inhibitors available to take. Would like to try and wrap this one up quickly.
He's got his guns on, Skimmy. He's got his good guns on. He's just switched out the flamethrower. If ever there was a time that they were looking to threaten this Baron, those are the weapons to do it.
No, Cataclysm will be online just now, so get some priority in mid lane.
Things pretty expected through the gold differences there. The one actual significant one is the difference between supports in gold. As a support, that's a lot of gold difference. Ayla is significantly tankier than that of Artek, worth considering, as the Ezreal ultimate will spot them not doing the Baron. For me, it's more about the item breakpoints and the gold values itself at this point. You can see that Swiper has brought back what was like an 1800 gold deficit to be even on 2 items. He's also level 13. He's going to be a prolific team fighting force for Order.
Order utilizing this big vision denial right now to keep members guessing, and Boma forced to use that true shot barrage before. They do a lap around to clear at mid again, and now they started off. Liv will be at that power spike now with 3 completed items. Once again, it's Bass looking at a situation. They're not going to make it a 50-50 again. The Baron gets down to half. Ayla instantly engaging with a depth charge onto 1. He's got the stone plate active. Liv just looking for a flank on the side. Artek will fall on down as Swiper finds value with his equalizer. Quaku now is massive. He jumps in and he finds kills, but Aphelios, he's on 10 health. He survives. He gets a double kill, and he is doing work to keep Order in this one. They have those inhibitors that they wish to push on down. They can't find their pick, and they invested so much to jump into the backline of Order.
Just before the Nika ultimate went off, it looks like, just before she slams into the ground, they're able to get that one. Order going to be doing Baron. You can see Aphelios using turrets to make it happen. It's Nautilus engaging. The second that Ayla presses R, Swiper is doing that on the targets that are knocked up. So they cannot dodge the initial damage, and they definitely cannot dodge the follow-up as massive DPS. As only may die.
He lives! The smite keeps him alive. Now the punishment, as maybe Mammoth have overcommitted with this one. The Harpoons will slow him down. He will be able to arcing shift away. There was a Lantern in case he was that concerned, but Bass is maybe looking for the ultimate, which is just not there. So I'm not sure what he's looking for at this stage. Livs is going to get the one-man ultimate onto Ayla, if anybody. And now they're just looking to try and get shutdowns. They find 2. And that's Baron buffs deleted on a few members. Mammoth, wow.
Yeah, 2 big influxes of gold, 2 very necessary shutdowns for them to find. It's important that they got those to have some kind of gold. They're still only 5,000 down. They are going to break this turret as well. Still some positives to be spoken towards here about Mammoth, but it's Order that have Baron. It's still on 3 very relevant members. You know, it's one of their side laners with the teleport. It's the Jarvan who'll be grouped up with the bottom lane that died anyway. So they are still in the position to continue forwards in this game, but those deaths happen 10 seconds before the Drake. And so will they be able to contest this is another question entirely, and it's unlikely.
It does look quite unlikely. You would imagine now at this situation that they just go and push those lanes out, and much like before this Drake spawned, they got the Herald down the lane to force them into a situation of we need to respond. They wait for those respawns. They keep those lanes prepped and may just look to group up and utilize that Baron buff and minion pressure.
Yeah, they pushed mid out. They got some vision pretty deep into the opponent jungle. So you knew you were never going to get that Drake after your members have died, but they come back stronger. They should come back poised to fight. You want to break that mid lane inhib while it's exposed right now. And I think what Order are doing is correct. They're not going to play all 3 lanes too hard. They're going to play 2 lanes aggressively, utilizing the Baron because they've lost 2 Baron buffs. Jarvan pretty much has to stay grouped if the bottom lane was here. Right now it's Swiper. And they're going to hover towards the top lane inner turret first. Utilize the pressure from that once the turret potentially breaks, and then they'll threaten the inhibitors, the remnants of the Baron.
Well, Order are gearing up for a fight. You can see right now that Rare has that elixir in his pocket, so he knows that even with this Baron buff, they can definitely look for that one team fight. With the respawn time as being this high at 28 minutes in, the end could be near. Top lane falls.
Cannons do work here. Only just zoning away. There's really not a lot more that they can do here, Mammoth. If they want to engage, it has to be now.
Mid inhibitor will fall on down as Liv uses that ultimate in the Zonias and gets a beautiful Lantern out of that situation. Out comes the equalizer, but the Cataclysm getting juked as well. They're forcing a fight underneath these Nexus turrets, and Oni doesn't care! He jumps in! He gets shut down by Bowman, which is incredibly strong, mind you. One single cannon on towards that Nexus turret. Now all of Member Space is exposed. A second inhibitor will fall on down. Order flirting with danger, that's for sure.
Yeah, they'll break the inhibitors. Quaku also flirting with danger. Good QSS for Rare. Fights
the
on.
hook in, the shockwave, that's an unconventional situation. There's no Jarvan, but it is an Nautilus, and Ayla has been on point so far. Baron buff does expire, but they still find hook after hook, and damage comes across. Swiper looking to try and get him underneath that tower, which is fractions away from falling on over. We may see a situation with these major objectives up in 2 minutes. That be the time. Ultimate's online for this game to come to a close.
There is some serious damage coming out of Boba, but they just disengage the second he goes forwards, you know, using the Oriata W, and it's just as simple as that. They walk away. It is a monstrous overshield, by the way, on Rare right now. And this Aphelios is unstoppable. You know, we really are at a point where Order have been hard forcing, perhaps a little bit too hard at moments, but they're still getting the objectives every time. You know, the punish that comes out from Mammoth is minimal. They're still in the driver's seat. It is still only 5,000 gold between these teams. Like, it's surprising to say that the gold hasn't shifted at all, but Order with all the momentum still.
Harry is definitely close to a major power spike himself. He's nearly completed that Rabadon's cap. And there it is. And he's got the elixir in his pocket as well too. So once again, the situation is we know that we want to end this game. And, you know, Ada's been making so much space for his team to work around. Always on point with these hooks. Definitely finding value with that Nautilus.
Yeah, Ayla definitely putting in some serious work in this game. Both support champions have the potential for high impact, but when the Thresh falls behind, he is super fragile, and it becomes a really difficult game to play. So you can see the clear difference there with who snowballed faster earlier. Order now threatening perhaps for the third inhibitor in bottom lane, but they're going to do so through mid lane priority. Keep them back at the Nexus turrets and then take the objective.
Final inhibitor soon to fall on down. Doesn't look like Mammoth will want to contest for this one right now. They sort of realize that, hey, we're in a good situation. Both Nexus turrets are still healthy. Yes, those minions will come on in, but we can survive for just another minute, even 45. We've got objectives to contest, but look at the damage! Rabadon's cap is complete, and all it took was one auto from Rare to complete the kill.
Yeah, now 0-7 Artek on this Thresh lived, is hunting.
Once again, he jumps on in, but just unable to find the value with that ultimate. Not finding that knockup, not finding that lockdown. You press R for order, you get the result like day one. They get these Nexus turrets falling on down, synchronized swimming as they drop to the floor. Order finding a 2-0 weekend, one step closer to making it to playoffs.
Another airball force there in the end by the Nico. You know, at the end of the day, Mammoth, they felt what they needed to do, but I think Order forced so aggressively and with so much pressure that it made it hard to execute. And with the Thresh as far behind as he was and being as fragile as he was, it was really, really difficult to try and make some plays happen there. And credit to Order, you know, they get the 2-0 day.
They do indeed. Order be very happy with that one. Obviously getting themselves into a situation that they are going to feel a lot more relieved upon. For Mammoth, unlucky they had an idea, but were just unable to execute to sort of counteract this combo that Order had drafted with them. But that does it for us with game number 3. We're going to jump to a quick commercial break, and when we return, game 4 of Super Week.